An autumn morning was crisp, and the golden rays of the sun lit up the quiet suburban neighborhood. The transition into a new season was announced by the scent of cinnamon and burning leaves in the air. The silence was broken by the clinking of Emily's spoon as she stirred her coffee at the kitchen table. Her thoughts drifted as she left her magazine open, unattended. Life had become perhaps too calm since she married Mark. They had built a peaceful existence that included unhurried Sunday walks, cozy dinners at home with friends, and serene weekends. Mark was the kind of husband many women dreamed of, reliable partner who always put her happiness above his own. And yet, Emily felt an inexplicable uneasy longing for something she couldn't quite identify. The gallery wall behind her displayed photos of mountain trips, dinners with friends, and their wedding day. All genuine and full of joy. Yet something was missing, not in the pictures, but within her. Her phone buzzed as she took another sip of coffee. She looked at it, expecting another newsletter or a group message. "I'm back in town. Can we meet?"
Jake.
Her hand froze. Jake, her ex-husband. Someone she hadn't seen in nearly a decade. Old memories surfaced, making her heart skip a beat. The first kisses in the rain, barefoot dancing in the kitchen, fights that ended in passionate apologies. Their love had been intense. In the end destructive, beautiful, and all-consuming. They had married young and hastily. She was only 21 when they said, "I do," believing love could overcome anything. But affection didn't heal emotional wounds or pay the bills. They separated after 3 years of turbulence, promising each other a fresh start. Emily's gaze remained fixed on the message. Her rational side screamed, "Delete it." But another part, buried deep down, whispered, "What if?" She replied later that same day after much thought. That night, they met at a small cafe nestled between art galleries and bookstores. Emily tried not to overthink the situation. She wore a beige coat and let her hair down. When she arrived at the cafe, she saw him.
Jake.
He looked older and wiser, but still had that effortless confidence. When their eyes met, she felt a pang in her chest. Jake rose from his seat to greet her. His deep, familiar voice was unchanged. Emily replied with a shy smile, "Jake." The hug was brief, but charged with unspoken emotions. As they drank their coffee, they talked about their dreams, their lives, and the people they had become. They shared memories and laughed, and for a moment, it felt as if no time had passed. Jake had never remarried. He had dedicated himself to photography and traveled the world. Emily told him about her passion for painting, her work with a local gallery, and her life with Mark, though she spoke about it with great caution. As the afternoon went on, Jake gently brushed her hand. "I've thought about you many times," he confessed. Her heart raced. From that night on, Emily couldn't stop thinking about him. She tried to ignore it, telling herself it was just nostalgia. But her heart was unsettled. They saw each other again a week later. And then again. At first, they didn't cross any physical boundaries, though the emotional intimacy grew. But emotionally, she had already crossed a line. Mark noticed the change. He began asking soft questions. "Is everything okay? You seem distant." She replied that she was just busy. "Work has been hectic lately." But the guilt tormented her. Still, Jake made her feel something she hadn't felt in years. Alive, desired, heard. One afternoon, he kissed her. The world spun. She didn't pull away. That night, Mark welcomed her home with her favorite wine and dinner served. She felt torn between the stark contrast of the two men. Days turned into weeks. The relationship intensified. They began spending afternoons by lakes, driving to nearby towns under the excuse of seeking artistic inspiration, even checking into boutique hotels under fake names. Jake had become her escape. Then one night, Jake asked her, "Let's run away together. Let's find a new place. Let's start over." Emily looked at him, her heart pounding. "I can't abandon my life." "But are you truly happy?" She couldn't answer. The pressure mounted. Mark's unease at home turned into suspicion. He found one of Jake's notes hidden inside Emily's sketchbook. "Who is he?" Mark asked, his eyes filled with pain. Emily broke down. She admitted everything. Mark's pain was palpable. He moved into the guest room. The isolation in the house became unbearable. Jake tried to comfort her, but she couldn't ignore the chaos she had caused. In the weeks that followed, she distanced herself from both men. She needed space to think. She began painting, reflecting, and writing in her journal. One day, she visited her favorite art supply store. Mrs. Hawthorne, the elderly owner of the shop, noticed her troubled face. "Whatever it is, dear, let the canvas carry the weight. It doesn't judge." That night, Emily cried. She began painting again, not for exhibitions or galleries, but for herself. Her art became more honest, more raw. Through each brushstroke, she began to understand the root of her restlessness. Jake wasn't the real reason. Not even Mark. It was about her. She had lost herself in the roles of wife, artist, and woman. She had chased passion, believing it equated to fulfillment. But her true longing was to find meaning, a relationship with herself. 3 months later, she invited Mark to visit her studio. The walls were covered in canvases, some abstract, others painfully clear. He was visibly moved as he said, "They're incredible." "They're my truth," she replied. "I don't expect us to go back to what we were. But I'm willing to try if you are." The pain was still in Mark's eyes, but it was softer now. "I don't know how to trust you again. I'll learn it day by day," she said. Jake left town shortly afterward. He sent her one final message. "I hope you find what you're looking for. Always yours, Jake." Emily didn't reply. Not because she didn't care, but because, at last, she had made a decision for herself. She and Mark attended therapy over the following year. They began to share small moments again: coffee, quiet walks, and laughter over silly movies. The love was still there, despite the scars. And Emily? She kept painting. Unraveled, A Journey of Mistakes, Truth, and Redemption was the title of her latest collection. She stood beside Mark, hand in hand, on the opening night of her exhibition, no longer searching for anything outside herself. She had found her home.